everybody. Welcome to Wash Rush Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Eddie V, aka That Retro Code. Joining me, as always, is the Wise Wisconsin Knight, Mr. Jesse Douglas.
How's it going, everyone?
Our streaming champion, Mr. Ray Apollo.
I live, barely.
And Bossman himself. And if you guys haven't checked out his 1v1 yet, what are you missing out on? Go check it out. Corey did it.
I don't know if they're missing out on much. There's much more better episodes coming up.
And
Ray's
we have a special guest. But I'm going to let Ray introduce our special guest because it's only just proper for him to do it. So, Ray, introduce our special guest who is joining us here on Watchers Podcast.
So do you ever question points in your life where you don't know anything about anything, but you need somebody who knows a lot about a lot of things, including sour cream? It's my boy, Ray Finney. The demon sour cream is here. Josh.
Oh,
Finney,
what's good, boys? What's good?
The demon of sour cream.
It's the demon
Wow.
sour cream.
So a quick aside to that nickname. Way back when Ray and I first met, we met doing a show, Neek the Podcast, and one night in pre-stream chat, our other co-host Chris, he made some comment about sour cream. I was like, "Oh God, it's disgusting. I don't like it," and it revealed my lifelong hatred of it. Ever since then, it was about 4 or 5 years ago. It's been a running joke between the three of us. That is how I was introduced every single show.
Wow.
Yep.
Is it the flavor or the actual dip, like sour cream?
It's the texture of it.
Oh, so it's the dip. Okay.
Mm-hmm. The dip and also the taste isn't that great. If it's like concealed by something, I can do it, like in an enchilada, but that's about it.
Because I'm thinking like Ruffles, like how they got the sour cream, and onion chips.
Nope. Don't like those either.
Concealed.
Okay.
Don't let them know, Josh, but let it go.
Oh,
Yeah.
everybody knows. Now they know.
I live in Wisconsin. I love everything dairy, so because I grew up.
He showers
I
in
was
sour cream.
I was given
That's basically
given
what
it is.
sour cream the day I was born. They
Disgusting
put a
mental.
spoonful in your mouth. The day
I believe
you, second you pop out.
I believe that.
So it's just sour cream.
Not okay.
Not okay, guys. It's not okay.
Well, before we get into the show, Josh, we want to know what have you been up to these days?
Not up to an awful lot, actually. I just did a move from not my hometown, but, my hometown where I've been living for the last 25 years or so. Moved down to Austin recently, enjoying it a lot down here. And, popping into Ray streams every now and then. We just got done playing the Division 2 a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
And
Nice.
it's going to be time for some Battlefront pretty soon.
that's right, baby.
Did you guys finish?
Oh, what?
Did you guys finish the game or like is it free DLC content?
So we got to the first world tier. Is what we did.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so we beat the whole campaign and just got Black Tusk to invade. And I was like, it just wiped out my whole map. I'm good. I'm done.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you undid all the work that I just did. Thanks a lot, video game. So yes,
We may or may not be quoting National Treasure the whole time.
we absolutely were.
We did, in fact, save the Declaration of Independence and the President. It was pretty great.
Well, I feel like we did that twice. It was great.
We
I feel
did.
like we did it twice.
Serious. I also really enjoy. I'm playing a lot of Destiny these days. Still, getting ready to go on a break from that, but yeah.
One or two.
Wait, Saint
What do you
14?
mean 1 or 2? Nobody plays Destiny 1 anymore, Ed. Come on.
But would you just
Catch
say
up.
Destiny?
And
Catch up.
Still, would you just say Destiny? You still got
No.
That means the most recent.
Or you play the
Yeah,
second?
I think that means the one that they've been updating for the last 3 years.
Well, I try to go back to the first Destiny.
why?
Because Ed
I'll
doesn't
be honest,
understand
I
what kind of
booted
game
it up.
Destiny is, so he goes back and plays the first one.
I booted up Destiny 1 probably
Sweet
3 or 4
summer
months ago,
child.
just before Shadowkeep came out. And that game is completely dead. Like, there were 2 people in the tower with me, I think.
There are more people playing Destiny 2 on Stadia than there are people playing Destiny 1.
Actually,
God.
I don't know about that. I genuinely think there's more people playing Destiny
Shut up,
1.
Josh. Let me have this.
What is this Stadia you're talking about?
Guys, we should get on the forefront of this and start a Stadia podcast just in case it becomes big. Like,
Yeah. No, that will guarantee that it will fail.
It's dangerous. You better go alone.
Rip Javelins for hire.
It depends how many people who still pre-ordered the Stadia the first time get their system, because they still haven't got it.
I mean, I'm just gonna put it out there. Mine will be here on Monday. So yeah.
Can you please stream Stadia?
No,
Yeah.
I have an actual office full of actual equipment. Why would I stream Stadia?
Because it would be hilarious.
Just say here's my video of me playing Stadia, and then show some papers, and then set it on top of the papers. So weigh it down.
Ustream or one of these.
I feel like Stadia and streaming at the same time on Ray's internet might actually crash the network.
I feel like it might actually burst. No, I think
it might steal the data from the rest of the grid, and we might.
I'm about to say, can you import 4K 60 frames per second to it?
Exactly. I will be the pinpoint of the end of all of it, so it'll be great. But no, it's an addition. So it's going into the living room, so I can play games in the living room because I'm not moving all my consoles out of the office where they all live. So should work. Upload speeds and download speeds are different. So my upload speed is garbage. Download speed is nice. It's real nice. So
questionable content.
I've got 100 down and 100 up. I've got that fiber.
I've got 300 up and 100 down.
I've got like 35 up,
and
then I've got like 1,000 down. So I'm fine.
I got Comcast, so I don't know what the world they doing. So.
I think.
Let me tell you though, we hit our data cap this month for the first time ever. Thanks to Disney Plus, and everything streams like HD and 4K. Everything else, all my other streaming services are set to not be in 4K.
This is true.
So us rewatching Clone Wars kind of nuked the internet. So I called them up and upgraded to the gigabit fiber.
Nice.
Yep. So I pay for unlimited. I have no cap. So
I have no cap either.
Same here.
I no longer have a cap, and it's a glorious feeling.
That's right. No cap out here.
Suck on that, data caps. Boom.
Wow. Well, before we go on, let's get into some housekeeping real quick. Follow us on Twitter at boss_rush_games and on Facebook and Instagram at bossrushgames. Join our Discord, Xbox console community, and our Destiny clan. Also, live shows have returned, like right now, everybody. Join us live on Mixer and Twitch at bossrushgames live. All one word to chat with us live on air. You can also find all of our content on bossrushgames.com. Powder Play VII, our seasonal Let's Play show, is officially underway. You can go to bossrushgames.com Saturdays from February 1st to April 4th. This season featuring games like Devil May Cry 5, Resident Evil 2 Remake, Spec Ops The Line, Monster Hunter, and more. Our latest episode of Okabe has dropped, so really guys, go check that one out and listen to that discussion. Tweet at us with games you want to see.
Go watch that 24-minute opening segment of Okami.
Oh, yes. Lastly, Arsenal X is officially returning live on February 9th and on podcast services Wednesdays. Join us on Sunday night Arsenal for the pre-show, the live podcast recording, and some multiplayer Xbox fun on Mixer and Twitch. Also, remember to check out our family of shows, podcasts, and videos on youtube.com/bossrushgames podcast services, and of course on bossrushgames.com. So everybody, before we go on, let's get down to some games that we've been getting down to. Josh, I'm going to start with you. What games have you been getting down?
Well, as I said in the opening, we just wrapped Division 2. Destiny 2 has been my continual ongoing game for probably about a year and a half now. Forsaken really brought me back into the universe, and I haven't left for a substantial amount of time since, maybe for a month or two here and there. And other than that, just playing a lot on my Switch, doing a lot of Link's Awakening, and starting up Luigi's Mansion.
Oh, nice. Corey, what games have you been getting down to?
Oh, boy. Okay, so I actually played a lot of games this week. For the first time ever. Played some games. More than one game this week. I 1K'd Hellblade. That was a big accomplishment. I love that game. Dude, I thought I missed a lore stone, and I was like really freaking out. And I went like, cause like I've been following like a walkthrough for where all the lore stones are, right? And I'm like, okay, check this one. Nice. Well, there's one that's like there's a circular stairway towards the end of the game where you have to go up and unlock a door and look down and rebuild a bridge through your super eyesight or whatever, and like you go down and like I forgot to get the lore stone underneath the stairs, so I was like crossing the bridge. I'm like, where's this last lore stone? And I'm like looking at the walkthrough. It's like it's at the bottom of the stairs. I'm like, what stairs? And I was like, oh, I'm past where the walkthrough is, so I had to go all the way back before I finished the game to go get it. But man, that would have sucked if I missed like the last lore stone because like. Not that game's a terribly long game, but to go back and try to get that one achievement, 8 or 9 hours is a long time. So
I'm pretty sure that's the one I missed.
Yeah,
because I only missed one.
Yeah,
I think.
And like, but it's kind of nice because like I noticed on the lore stones, all the glyphs around the lore stones are the lore stones that you've gotten, and they're red if you missed it, and they glow white if you got it. So it was like, I was like, oh man, I found the one after the one underneath the stairs. So like, it's just like this one that's sticking out red. I'm like, oh no, I gotta go get it. So, but I 1K'd Hellblade. That's a great game. And it made me even more excited for, Senua's Saga when it comes out. I mean, you know, I played Hellblade when it came out and I got about 3 or 4 hours in and I just dropped off of it because I don't know, probably Destiny expansion came out or something, and I just decided to go back to it after the trailer for the second one, and I finished it, and it was a great game. So I have officially moved on to finish Rise of the Tomb Raider. Turns out I was like right at the end of that game, and
don't you love that?
Great game.
It is a great game.
Yes,
but I also forgot what all the buttons did, and how many moves I unlocked and everything. So I just decided to start over because it's a fun game. I might as well just replay it. Plus, like, there's a couple of achievements that I'm really close to, and I think if I just restarted the game, I could just knock them out. So I am at the point where you get the first side quest from the guy in the Russian Soviet area where you have to like destroy all the boxes, all the transmitters and stuff. So that's where I'm at. I still think the Tomb Raider games are so good, dude. They're all so good.
That is probably the best one of them.
I need to play the one that you're playing right now. That's the only one I haven't played.
Rise, the second one.
Rise is the best one, I would say. I love Shadow of the Tomb Raider too. I know that game kind of got mixed reviews, but I did actually love that game a lot.
Yeah.
But
I think we talked about it. We said that Rise is first, Shadow second, and Tomb Raider, the reboot, is the third one. But they're all fantastic games.
Yeah.
Crystal Dynamics is just such a special studio.
Yeah,
I have big hopes for that Avengers game.
Yeah, it's gonna be that game. Well, I will judge it when it comes out.
See what we get there. That's exactly it.
So
I think that delay was really needed. I think just even after the E3 presentation, that delay was really needed for that.
Yeah,
that's a game I could see being delayed again.
Yeah,
honestly.
But yeah, those are kind of the games that I've been really sinking a lot of time into. I also played a little bit more Tokyo Mirage Sessions, but I haven't made any progress to even kind of discuss on that. You know, I want to sit down and play that game, but also I'm like, man, I don't know. I'm just really into these other games right now.
It's okay to see that there are better games out to play right now. That's a summertime game.
Yeah. So I mean, I have a list of like RPGs that I want to play on Switch, right? Like Tales of Vesperia, Dragon Quest XI. I need to finish Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and Tokyo Mirage Sessions are like my...
So what you just told me, you just said I want to spend hundreds of hours playing my Switch.
Yep.
So, yeah.
I do.
But we do that on a normal basis. So.
I do, though. But usually, like, when I'm playing my Switch, it's usually, like, Tetris, because I don't want to spend time in a handheld mode playing these grand RPGs. So, plus, like... I've been really into my Xbox this last week because I just bought a 4K TV, and I was like, dude, when I didn't have a 4K TV, I was like, I don't need 4K. You know, these games look great, right? I'm going to tell you, whoever says they don't need 4K has never played a game in 4K. It's so good. It made my eyes water and glorious 4K. 4K tears. 4K tears.
4K is nice, but 1080 60 is perfect.
I know. I had never like really sat down and really played games in 4K before, and I played.
They're gorgeous. So
dude, I feel plus like my TV has FreeSync on it, so I turn that on, and like when you turn FreeSync on, you have to play in 1440 for some reason. I don't know technologically why you have to do that. But also, when you do that, you can turn on 120 hertz instead of 60 hertz through the Xbox. And there are very few games that support that. But one game that does support that is Halo 5. And Halo the Master Chief Collection. And oh boy. I've never wanted to play through Halo 5.
Could do 120.
I've never wanted to play Halo 5's campaign again more in my entire life. Oof.
I mean, it must be pretty good if you want to go play that campaign again.
I do, because I don't want to die in 4K. I want to mess some stuff up in 4K. So playing through shooting stuff.
Okay.
Dude, you know, I mean, I'm not good at Halo multiplayer. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I know this comes as a shock to everybody, but I'm not like pro Halo player over here. So. You know. But shooting guys and watching some of those cutscenes, even though I've played through that campaign 3 times, I still don't know what's happening in that story. And no clue. But when that first cutscene, when you finally get to play as Chief in that game, and they are flying the Pelican into the one of the ships that's down.
Yeah,
that cutscene looks real nice, dude. Oh, it looks so good. Oh. And also, this is actually the first, like, going back, because I have my old TV in the office to stream from, just because I wanted to have 2 monitors all the time on my setup over here. So I brought the other TV in here. Dude, playing with FreeSync on as opposed to just playing on a normal whatever mode TV has, like, it feels like it's so much more responsive to play on my new TV, and it just actually makes me feel like I'm playing the game instead of like predicting where I'm going to go and then hitting the button and hope it happens. Like, it's such a noticeable change that I just like, I don't know who would ever want to play on games on a TV that doesn't have FreeSync ever again.
Which TV did you get?
The Samsung 8 series.
Oh, okay.
The RU8000.
All right.
So, it's so good. I love it. So, yeah, that's kind of all I've been playing, though. I did run through about 30-ish games to see what they looked like in 4K, though.
That's fair.
Yeah. I also on Xbox One X, where you could drop down the menu and it says, I only want Xbox One X enhanced games. I hit that for the first time ever, and yeah, turns out there's also some original Xbox games on that list, like Black, that game.
Oh, nice.
Those textures, those are some really beautiful flat textures from an original Xbox game.
That game.
SSX3 though, also on that list. Very, very nice looking game. Also.
Okay.
Dude, I miss SSX. Where'd that game go? Come on. Give me a real one.
People,
I would crowdfund a new SSX.
Oh,
either that, or I would like them to redo or remaster, reimagine whatever the original Cool Borders games. Like those first, the first one. I know, but those first ones. Are they going to turn it into
a third-person over-the-shoulder action game? That's real dark and gritty.
Right.
Cool. So that's the 1080 reboot.
The 1080 reboot.
Oh wow.
And they could. There's so many games that were on Sony that were unique and cool, like during like PS1 and PS2, that they could bring back, like Spider.
What about
there's,
Twisted
like,
Metal? Where's my new Twisted Metal game?
Where
There's
is
like
Siphon
8 of-
Filter?
Yeah, Siphon Filter. Let's do it.
Questionable.
All I see
Tom.
is a bunch of dead games in a graveyard. Way to go, guys.
Just bring back EA Sports Big. EA, do the right thing here.
Do the right thing.
Take
Stop
control,
opening
Michael.
up more DICE studios and resurrect EA Big.
If EA's gonna do
Is
the right thing,
What
then
if
they
it's
have to
Dice
take out
Big?
their. They're gonna have to take out their surprise mechanics.
Oh no.
Well, there's an easy way. Take the leadership from Respawn and let them all run studios because
Oh, no.
they're doing good things
I
over
mean,
there.
or just let Respawn keep doing what they're doing, and everybody else can keep messing up.
It's fair. It's fair.
Hey,
He's fine still good for themselves.
look, as long as that Knights of the Republic remake doesn't have loot boxes, I think we'll be all right.
Pretty sure Disney said no, so I think we'll be fine.
Yeah,
I
Disney
Mickey
learned
Mouse
their lesson.
himself showed up over there.
It's
Can't confirm.
confirmed.
They
Mr. Mouse.
people spoke with their money, so hopefully they'll start making some better choices with Star Wars because the
You think
recent
Disney
Star
wants out
Wars
of
game
that?
is the only one that sold well.
You think Disney wants out of that contract with them? Or you think Disney
So,
just is so out of
I
the
don't-
loop of games they just don't care or no
They don't care. They don't care.
I think they do care now. I think they realized that it was a mistake going into that. They have a guy over there at Disney now who actually cares about publisher relations. John Drake left Sony to go over there and head that up.
Yeah, he did do that.
And he's the one who helped broker the deal for Insomniac to do Spider-Man. So I definitely would trust him over there knowing what he's doing. But if the report that came out 2 weeks ago is to be believed, EA has 4 games in development that are all Star Wars properties. And that's a little terrifying to think about. That basically says, oh, well, they're not going to get out of the contract now. My ideal hope and dream is that at E3 2020, Phil Spencer and the head of Obsidian walk out and announce Obsidian's mystery project that they're doing, and that it's Knights of the Republic 3, and that the previous 2 games are canon.
But I
That'd be
feel
nice.
like I feel like Disney doesn't care because they allow Square Enix to do whatever they want with the Kingdom Hearts games and just literally just take.
Well,
as a sense
yeah,
that Disney should have had.
That's
Square
actually
Enix
not
be like,
true. That's actually not true.
But
Pixar let them do what they wanted to do. Disney had very strict policies on what to do with their
But
properties
I mean-
because
So long for the
that's
game to come
why
out.
Kingdom Hearts 3 took.
more ass.
Uh-huh.
Get this game out. Stop remaking or whatever. Like Disney should have said, "Get this game out. It's been too long. We're probably losing money on not having this game out and stuff." I think Kingdom Hearts 3 could have been bigger, but because the time has been too long, it didn't.
I mean,
really
wasn't it the
wow
third highest selling game of last year, or fourth highest selling game of last year? It seems pretty,
I don't.
seems pretty big to me. It sold like over 8 or 9 million copies.
From everything I've understood
Kingdom
about
Hearts
the EA
will sell
license,
regardless.
the EA license, from what I've come to understand, is Fallen Order was essentially their last shot, and Fallen Order delivered. Like it was it was the 3rd highest selling game of the year, and it came out midway through November. That's incredible. Like it's outpaced EA's expectations, like lifetime expectations.
Was
for sales
Call of
have
Duty-
already been topped.
Was Call of Duty #1 last year? Biggest
Always.
selling?
It's
Always.
the number one every year.
With the exception of GTA 5, it was.
Yeah, I'd say with the exception of
Yeah.
GT, just in general, yeah, it's usually Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And it
That's
might.
video
Red
games.
Dead might have beaten Call of Duty in 2018.
Well, for 2019, if
Well,
the
it was absolutely Modern Warfare. Absolutely.
and then what was the second game? Did they ever say?
2K20?
I don't
It
know.
did.
You were talking about Disney earlier. Did you guys hear about that school that got sued by them?
No,
No.
but I'm not
Yeah.
I think it's
okay,
for
so-
showing The Lion King.
Yeah, because they were doing a fundraiser and they wanted to do something that could keep the kids, like the younger kids, entertained while all the adults were trying to do the stuff for fundraising. And it wasn't like they charged anything to watch it or anything. it was like they just had the movie up and someone posted it online or something, and they sued them for more than what they made in the fundraiser.
Corporations are not
Disney.
your friends.
Thank you. Say it again for the people in the back.
Corporations are not your friends.
Nope.
All right, the
But
best selling
Okay.
games of well, hold on. Year ending. Best selling top 10 video games of 2019. Call of Duty Modern Warfare, NBA 2K20, Madden NFL 20, Borderlands 3, Mortal Kombat, Jedi Fallen Order, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, does not include digital sales. Kingdom Hearts 3, Tom Clancy's The Division 2, and Mario Kart 8, which also does not include digital sales.
Yeah, because I know Call of Duty's so bigger digitally than they did physical.
Well, yeah. Well, I think that's the way most games are going now anyway, though.
At least big multiplayer games.
I was about to say, I think from all of the earnings calls, I think they were all up at least 50% in terms of digital sales.
Mm-hmm.
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, also, I think this is, the second year in a row NBA 2K20 sold more digitally than it did physically, I think. So,
Which makes sense.
2K is nuts digitally.
yeah.
But then people were pissed off when they realized how much microtransaction was connected to it, like all that gambling stuff, or that loot stuff, I should say. So I wonder if that's going to affect this year's sales for that game.
I don't think so. I think that this year, especially with you going into a console generation, and they can tout, if they go ahead and develop a new engine, they can tout that people are going to want to play the newest and hottest thing. There's going to be something. That is a hardcore crowd. It's like the people who buy Madden every year. They're going to buy it no matter how much they complain. We're going to complain about Ultimate Team every year. We're going to complain about how much it costs to buy the packs. We're still going to buy the game. We're still going to fork over the money.
Which
I mean,
is pretty much
It's fans. They're fans of basketball that love basketball, so they're going to buy the basketball game.
Right.
Yeah, that's the thing is there are those, like we all know at this point, there's those people that literally only get like sports games, like
right.
That like that's what they play is.
I wonder, but I always wonder why some sports fans don't look at reviews or
because
just,
they don't care, because
I'll
like
say, why
when you
would-
only have one
it's-
option.
It's a sports game, and they're like, okay,
Right.
well, I've played this game every year, so
That
I'll play
market
it.
is so much more monopolized than when we were kids.
Yeah.
That you have
Yeah.
that one option. You have, if you want football, you gotta go get Madden. You can't even get NCAA anymore. You have to buy Madden.
But do you think players could wait just for review before they go out and make that purchase?
No,
or
because
is it
people-
just a
people
money
don't
grab?
care.
That's buying Madden
So much-
2K, they truly do not care.
So much of the audience, so much of the people that buy Madden and Call of Duty and all those games every year don't look at games like we do. They're just like, okay, Madden's coming out, I'll just go buy it, right? They don't read reviews, they don't watch videos, they don't watch YouTube videos on it, they don't watch streams of it. They buy it, they go buy it to play it, and then that's the game they buy every year.
Because I know some people.
Go look at the new WWE ones. There's a
Yeah.
whole bunch of apologists.
we know.
No, there's a whole bunch of apologists on there. People that give it 5 stars and say, "I don't know what everyone's complaining about."
Well, yeah.
Like,
but
it's like, dude, what are you talking about?
Because the thing about it is that they'll go and buy these sports games and then they want to go on social media and complain about it, but they didn't do no research. So, and then some other people will be like, well, that's what you get for not doing your research, So that's why I wonder when people who do buy sports games or pretty much any game and it's like not in good shape or form and it's broken, do you go ahead and support the other one because that's your only choice and because you are a fan of that game or that genre, I should say.
Well, the
Especially
thing
for-
is the majority of people who are buying it aren't going to comment on it,
Right.
because that's not like the majority. The people that are going to buy it every year, regardless, those aren't the people that are complaining about it online. Those are the people that just get it and they're just like, whatever.
They just accept it, and if they don't like it, they're like, well, maybe it'll be better next year, and then they'll buy it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
which
So-
I mean,
has
and
been gradually getting worse every year. It feels like.
I think every consumer has a breaking point too, right? Like Call of
Yeah.
Duty is still year over year the best-selling game, but even that we've seen the sales decline this generation.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Ghosts did really good, but it was such a overall horribly received by the community that Advanced Warfare didn't do that good. It's like the lowest selling Call of Duty I think this decade, even though it was still finished number one in its year. Like clearly things have to change, and I think every consumer has that breaking point. I got to that point with Star Wars games. I couldn't buy and support them anymore because I wasn't enjoying myself. I didn't like them. I didn't like Battlefront. I loathed Battlefront. I got Battlefront 2 when it came out and hated it so much. Took it back that weekend. Did not play another Star Wars game. I was really iffy if I was going to get Jedi Fallen Order until I saw it in person at Celebration Chicago and was like, okay, I'm a believer. It's Respawn. Let's do it.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
even that was a gamble. Like I remember Ray and I talking about it like 2 weeks before it came out. I was like, "Oh God, I really hope this is good." Like I am really scared.
Yeah.
It has to be.
I didn't even get the Battlefront game. I mean, I bought it with my PS4 because it was a digital pack for the first Battlefront, but didn't want to play it because I was just like, not all Star Wars games have been a hit or like really work well. And I'm like, this coming from EA, who has kind of had problems with their development and stuff, I just don't trust them with the Star Wars license.
I'll say this: they created with the Battlefront games, they created one, the best scale I've ever seen in a Star Wars game, but two, the most beautiful looking Star Wars games. Like it felt like you were in the movie.
Yeah,
And for
Just
a lot of
period.
people,
Those games are gorgeous.
DICE makes some of the best looking games in the entire industry. Like that, DICE using Frostbite, using their own engine, is just a match made in heaven. It's incredible.
But that's
Stop
the problem.
forcing it on every other studio.
Right, that's what I was to say.
Yeah.
Like, DICE is the only one that could.
They're
do
not
that.
all built for the same types of games. So yeah,
I like to look at Battlefront 2 though, like not to be an apologist for it, but seeing the turnaround that game has had, the incredible community support, and how EA pumped a ton of resources into fixing that game, it now runs so well, and it is such a fun game to play with friends. This is probably going to be a staple of my catalog for the rest of the year. Like I'm genuinely having so much fun. They stuck with it, they fixed it, and they listened to the players.
And that's kind of how Rainbow Six Siege was. And Jesse, you know this, like it was like bare bones when it came out, and people did not like it. People didn't like it.
Still loved it.
Yeah, but over time, that
But
game
yeah,
got fixed.
Yeah,
And
it got extremely better.
And it feels like sports games, like it feels like EA don't put the time in, or even 2K. They don't. It feels like they don't put the time in to fix those games. So the next iteration,
you gotta
just make a game of getting it.
You gotta think about it too, though. Like it's not 2K's fault that WWE they didn't have the time, because WWE is so in charge of that property and so influencing of that property. Anything with a license is so influenced by the license holder. For the most part, right? I mean, there's exceptions, like Spider-Man, I'm sure, is a huge exception, right? Because, so many people like that game, but that's because Insomniac knows how to do movement and make games and really, I'm sure Marvel Games is like, look, we want to do this right. We want to make sure everything. That's why Avengers wasn't rushed out in March, right? Like that's why they delayed that game
even on
too.
the topic of Spider-Man, like Marvel had final refusal privileges on the story, as far as I've understood. Like they had to sign off on the story, on all the major plot beats, the cameos, the references. Marvel signed off on all that because they've actually taken that iteration of Spider-Man and brought him into the main comics universe. They've brought him into Spider-Verse.
And that's kind of, it feels like the same thing they did with Ultimate Alliance 3. That Marvel worked with Nintendo and the Tecmo Koei to get that game together for the characters, how the story plays out. Like Marvel, I feel like Marvel approved all of that also.
I mean, they have to.
They have to.
Yeah.
When you're managing an IP that big, you have to. And I think that's where with those two games, I think that's a result of them learning their lesson with Battlefront 2. Because when Battlefront 2 came out, you had the whole loot box controversy during the reviews and during the initial launch week. And like Bob Iger himself was on the phone. I guarantee you, Bob Iger was on the phone to EA going, "What the hell? Come on, guys. You have to fix this. You're playing with the most valuable IP in history."
And I think that's why it felt weird that EA was getting blamed for all of that and not Disney. Because in my opinion, and I don't know if you guys feel like this, Disney had to approve all of that for EA to even do it.
As far as I understand, Lucasfilm and Disney did not have it in the contract to approve it. They were like, you're doing a story. They signed off on the story for the single player because they actually brought the story group from Lucasfilm in to advise and help Mitch Dyer and Walt Williams with that. But as far as the multiplayer goes, like that's it. The gunplay was great in Battlefront 1. It's just they're too bare bones.
Yep. It was a great video game. It was just everything else was not built around it to make it a great video game.
Yeah. At the fundamental level, it was great. Functionally great. Monetarily, there just wasn't enough.
The business portion of it.
Yeah. The business portion was really, really bad. They wanted it out to capitalize on The Last Jedi. And that didn't go well.
Well, Ray, what games have you been getting down to?
So I'm still playing Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Not a great game, but I love Dragon Ball, so here we are. Also playing Senua's Sacrifice for the first time. I'm getting into the flow of that. I like the story that it tells and how it tells the story differently. I like that. I appreciate it.
What's this
combat? Xbox.
Oh no, because this PlayStation 4 is Switch, so
I only have an Xbox and a Switch. Yeah.
Nobody's playing it on Switch, and he doesn't have a PlayStation.
Nope. But no, so I like it. I will say that the combat
different.
It exists.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's like I said last week. Like, I wish that game didn't have any combat. And I know for the purpose of making the game viable for more than just an indie audience, they needed to have some sort of combat in there, right? But like,
yes.
And this is Ninja Theory. They do fast paced action.
I mean, I also played Gone Home and really enjoyed Gone Home. So
I know.
I don't know, man. Yeah.
I wish there wasn't any combat in that game, though.
I feel like it could have been done without combat, to be completely honest with you. But I'm liking it so far. The experience is good. I'm not very far into it. I think I'm maybe 4 hours in, and so, but I like it.
Oh, so
I did die. Yeah, I died once and didn't know how or why I died, but I was like, okay, well, I died. So, let's see that.
What's the limit of death before the game resets? Is it?
I think that's like a spoiler. So I don't want to talk about it.
Well, I mean, it's been out there. So
I think that's going to be my next Game Pass game. It's going to be Hellblade. I've really been wanting to try it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. Yeah.
Other than that, I started playing Phantasy Star Online 2.
Yeah, how's that going?
I freaking love this game. And because if you people can look at games and be like, yo, that's a Ray ass game right there.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's exactly what Phantasy Star is. And I love this game. And I'm gonna get, as soon as it's available to like play forever, I'm gonna get lost in this game. It's gonna be what Destiny is to Josh right now.
It looks faster.
It's faster. It's more fluid. I mean, it's still just as bad in terms of like, voice acting and, overall anime is, but I love it. I love it so much.
That's why I wasn't surprised that a half of a second after I mentioned that I was gonna start up Phantasy Star. You're like, did you play it last night? I'm like, I knew it.
I know. It was like they was working on the servers and stuff yesterday night.
Yeah.
But this morning they were great. So because everybody's asleep, but they were fantastic this morning because of course I got up and played this morning. And I was sick, so I had an excuse. I don't have to do anything else. So yeah. But no, it's just fun. So that and the last thing, I re-downloaded Dragalia Lost on my phone, and so yeah. Got a lot of stuff to play. And then, like I was saying earlier, like in I guess the pre-show, I have a Stadia on the way, and so I'll be able to talk about that next time we're together. Yeah.
I'm like as much as we all rip on Stadia, like to each other or on our own time when you're listening to a podcast and you're like, Stadia, that exists.
Yeah.
I am really interested to see. I can't wait till next week's conversation because I know, Jesse, you've been using xCloud, and
that's why I'm not interested.
Well, no,
I already have a better.
I want to hear the back and forth on how Stadia works and how it compares to kind of xCloud. I want to hear that conversation and see can Stadia actually be a viable option for someone, in the next 6 months to a year. You know what I mean? I just want to hear it. I want to see.
And that's why I bought it. I have a very specific use in mind for it. And I also want to have an actual formulated opinion on it. Not just, I've seen and heard that it sucks. No, I can't keep doing that. I want to be able to talk about it from my own personal experience.
I know for me, it's more of Google intentions of coming out, having what they're marketed, but it didn't because this is their first kind of video game service for them. Not everything came out. When you can't even get the pre-orders right, people were just like, oh, this is going to be problematic. And then just some of their business decisions and everything. It's kind of weird why people are knocking on Stadia. It could be viable in the future, but a lot of people just be like, well, if it's going to be viable in the future, you should have delayed this and put it out to.
Well, they should have just made it.
Put the word beta on.
Yeah,
and it would have been fine.
Because
because the thing that's really gonna stand out for it, that honestly will make it unique, is once the integrations start coming out, where you can do the whole click on someone and it pulls up a YouTube, the YouTube video stuff and all those. Once those things that they kind of talked about, as being the future of it, actually are something tangible that actually exists, then maybe I'll start caring about it. But until then, what I have in the console streaming thing for the xCloud right now is more than enough.
Well, it's just that when Stadia was showing the 4K 60 commercials and it didn't actually have 4K or 60, people were just like, why are you even showing this? You haven't even delivered on that promise. And you marketed this thing for that to be this out of the gate, and we don't have it. So it's kind of see how what Stadia will do for 2020. I think that's going to probably be a story that a lot of people are going to follow this year.
So, I think you get the nail right on the head there. This is going to be a story that people are going to follow because with xCloud going out of beta this year and with Series X coming, we probably can deduce that Amazon is going to reveal what they're doing games and streaming wise within the next, I'm going to say 6 to 8 months. We're going to find out. I'll be shocked if we haven't heard about it by Gamescom. You've got the 3 biggest tech companies in the world that are invested in this to this degree going at it. And you should want all of them to succeed because when one company succeeds, that breeds excellence. And you don't want a monopoly. That's just the way that I feel about consoles right now. Each of the 3 consoles has its own niche that it's doing really good. Xbox is great with services. Nintendo, you've got the 2-in-1. PlayStation, you've got probably the best first party lineup in history. And there you go.
Questionable.
Each of them is challenging the other. Questionable, and that's what's arguably it's the best first party lineup in history. But you've got definitely the best in-house talent, I think, over there. So everybody's got their own thing, and they're all trying to compete with each other now. Microsoft is trying to tackle portability. They're trying to get more studios. Nintendo is hanging out in their own world, but even their services they're all right. They need to be better. And you've got Sony is about to have to go on defensive for the first time in 7 years.
Which is good because we know a defensive Sony breeds good stuff. That's how we got the PS4 in general. So,
Well, right. Yeah, that's why I said questionable for some things with Sony and Microsoft and even Nintendo. It just depends on the person you sometimes talk to. That they do. No, but because some people may argue that this system might have the strongest lineup in history. I agree with you that Sony had a strong first party.
So Ed, I see you, but I usually just go by the numbers. If you look at the reviews, pound for pound, Sony's had the best lineup, and that's just yes, yes, you can argue it based
I
on
would-
preference, and that's fine.
I mean, I would
But
say
when it comes to
say,
numbers
like,
and ways reviewed,
wait,
Sony's winning. Again. It's okay.
Horizon, God of War, Bloodborne, and Uncharted 4 are probably
Spider-Man.
the top. It's Spider-Man 5. It's Spider-Man, yeah, from Insomniac, yeah, are probably the 5 top, PS4 first-party exclusives. If you want to go with that, completely great with that. But you look at Nintendo with Breath of the Wild and some of their other games for Switch. You look at Xbox and some of their other games when they came on the Xbox One. It kind of depends on who you talk to, who might say that Sony had this.
I mean, if you're looking
but
for
Xbox
people's
might have
opinions,
this.
yeah, but I mean, like,
Right.
but
Pound for pound, I think definitely like it comes down to, not to draw this out. I think it definitely comes down to Sony. Like you got Naughty Dog, software doing exclusives. You got Insomniac over there. You've got Sony Santa Monica. You've got. I'm forgetting their.
I mean, you even look at something like Days Gone that sold so well, and like, I mean, it didn't review great, but it's one of their best selling exclusives. Like, it's up there. It's literally up there with Horizon and God of War in terms of sales.
Yep.
So I mean,
Sony has, because Sony has some titles that people will, because they are a fan of Sony, they're willing to get their first part. They're willing to give it a try. Days Gone was iffy because of the
Ray,
delays.
how's Dragon Ball Z Kakarot going?
But I'm just saying that, Sony does have some good first party games. But I'm just saying that it sometimes depends on the person you talk to about.
So what Ed is trying to say is he doesn't like PlayStation games. He doesn't like when people assume that PlayStation games are the best. Moving on.
Look, I have 65 plus PlayStation 4 games, so that says something.
That says that you have a lot of PlayStation 4
games.
That's it. That's literally all it says.
But I have
Anyway,
65 copies of Legend of Korra.
Oh. But is that what you've been getting down to, Ray? I'm sorry.
Yep, that's it.
Jesse, what have you been getting down to?
So I tried to start Phantasy Star Online too, but all I did was make a character, and if you know me, you know that I try to make the most ridiculous looking character that I can possibly make. Usually, I make a guy with pigtails and a beard, and I usually make it like the hair purple or like weird colors, and then make him like really super buff. So it's a big buff dude with pigtails. But this time I went with this crazy like Elvis kind of hair where it like kind of but it goes like a foot in front of your face.
Oh, so a pompadour.
Yeah.
Very anime.
And then I made the face really squished and small, and it's got a little mustache, and I made it all purple or like a purplish color.
Do you think that's ridiculous? My character's literally the Gundam. So there.
Yeah. I know. I was thinking about.
Did you say your
doing a
character's from
robot.
Gundam?
My character's literally a Gundam. He's not from. It is a
Yeah.
Gundam. That is what it is.
Gundam MMO when?
Yeah.
I would love that. That'd be great.
Jesse's making a Yu Yu Hakusho character.
That's what it looks like. I saw the picture. It looked like a Yu Yu Hakusho character.
Yeah,
Different
Anime.
JoJo. It's weird.
I love how Corey supports my says, yeah, anime.
Speaking of, have you watched Blue Exorcist at all?
Yes, I have seen Blue Exorcist.
Oh, that show is so good, man. I watched the first 2 episodes of it, and
Is that
I'm
on Hulu?
loving it like a lot. It's on Netflix.
and I'm gonna say that's a Netflix one. Yeah,
Yeah, it's so good. Like it's
there's a lot
funny.
of anime out there.
It's funny.
A
Yeah,
lot.
there's a crap load of it now. Yeah.
I had to
Like
check it out.
one of the lists that you flip down to, it literally just shows all anime
Honestly.
forever. But so yeah, that's as far as I got as creating my character in that. I've actually been trying to finish Anthem, like actually finish the story. And I am actually loving the heck out of that game. I'm having so much fun with it. Like I'm actually, just because like when it first came out and I first started playing it, like I felt like I never would get any kind of like decent drops or like anything worth keeping. And I still, you still do get a lot of stuff that you just end up breaking down, but you need materials for stuff anyway, so it's not really that big of a deal. It's no different than Destiny or any of that stuff where you get stuff and you break it down because you want, for actually making something that you want. Now, what I do like about this game with the like crafting stuff, I like that, like once you learn like the blueprint of something, every time you level up, that blueprint levels up with you. So it will always be like 1 or 2 levels higher than what you are. Or what the the weapon that you have is. So then that way, like if you get the materials, if you want to keep, like let's say you found your specific gun that you really enjoy using and it works really well for you, if you have the blueprint for it, you can keep crafting just that one every time you level up to keep on raising your armor or your armor levels. And so, like, they did a really, really good job with that whole crafting stuff of like, making it easy. Like we're in Destiny, you got to wait for something to drop that will actually, bring your levels and stuff up. Whereas with this, you can, you can actually just keep on crafting stuff if you want to. I mean, you still get drops where things raise your levels up, but once you do that, then you can better everything else, like things that you actually want to create and build yourself. So it's kind of nice. And then what's kind of cool about that as well is when you craft stuff kind of like Division and stuff, there's a random like perk things that are usually connected to the item that you craft. And so a lot of times those things will like be cool. Like, you'll get something really nice, like plus 10%, marksman rifle ammo or like things like that. And yeah, like that part of the grind of that game actually is enjoyable, which very seldom do I enjoy the grind in games. Really only Destiny and probably this are the only 2 games that I've really, didn't mind the Division, the first Division, I didn't mind the grind in that one either. But yeah, like I'm just having fun with it. Like honestly, I've always liked since the beginning the world that you're playing in. Yeah, I just wanted to finally finish it. I had planned on doing it eventually. I mean, even some like missions, I'll just for the heck of it, I'll put it on hard, just to see if I get better drops. It is difficult sometimes when you're doing it by yourself. Instead of having a 4 group playing during a mission. But it's doable. It's fun. I've gotten used to all the like the movement and all that stuff, so it's pretty fluid. Like when I'm playing on hard by myself, I get into kind of a rhythm and it's fun. Like doing the like flash dodge, like when they're like certain attacks are about to happen, to dodge right at the last second, so it doesn't hit you, and or fly around to evade things or whatever. I'm really honestly having a lot of fun with it, and I do hope that we do get like the big overhaul thing that they kind of talked about, because I really do want to love that game. So
do we think that they actually address Anthem at EA Play this year, or do they sidestep it like they did last year?
Sidestep it.
I don't know.
It depends on. I think it depends on how much those rumors are. Are they wanting to like revamp it or are true, and like how much they have done of it? Like
that
I think
would be the only reason why they talk about it. It's because they're really proud of what they decided to come out with.
Yeah.
I think they're going to sidestep it because of
we're
Dragon
coming
Age
up on the
4.
1 year anniversary this month of the game.
Yeah.
Did you just said 1 year?
Dude, I feel like that game came out like 3 years ago.
Doesn't
No,
it?
it
Doesn't
didn't.
it feel like that? It feels like it came out forever ago, but it's only been barely a year.
Yeah.
See, I think they're going to, like I said, sidestep it to Dragon Age 4. Their EA play, they're going to focus more on that than they will for Anthem. Like if I was going to say something about Anthem, I would probably say like GDC or something like that.
Well, I would hope that they would do like a dev doc, like just do a really well done YouTube video, explains all the changes and put it out there, and then let everybody else just kind of pick it apart and do it.
I would pay for Jason Schreier to write a book about Anthem's development.
Ooh, I probably think
Or
that's
just
gonna happen anyway.
or just do that like you said, that God of War style documentary about like what they're doing, and like, because that, like that's the thing is, like a lot of people really were, like weren't pleased with Sea of Thieves when it first came out,
Right.
and
See, this turned into a brilliant game. You're right. That's a really good example because when these came out, we tried that. We were like, nope, this is not good. Don't like this. But now it's a fantastic game.
Yeah. Well, but like what I was gonna try to get to is like, one thing though, I think that kept people like, they were disappointed initially, but they weren't like angry about it, is because like they at least did a lot of videos, like where they would release videos talking about stuff and like, actually interact, try to have some kind of behind the scenes thing going on to give people the opportunity to get an understanding of, like maybe why things are taking as long as they are, or ideas that they had that they need to flesh out more, that that we could look forward to, or like they did a lot of that stuff, and like that's the thing is, it feels like with Anthem they didn't quite fight for it enough. I think if they would like do something like that where they have like kind of explaining like what's going on, and have some kind of more interaction in some form, that it would be, I would feel a little bit more safer of if they are going to actually do something about it. But yeah, so I part of me hopes that they do something and say something. Even if, like you guys said, it's just like a video thing, or like if they just start a series of video things where they, go over stuff more.
It really depends on if EA is willing to allow BioWare to focus on that and put it out there, because EA would just be like, we'll take the criticism, try to spin it, and we'll move on to something next. So if EA gives BioWare that chance to do it, yeah, I'm for it.
I mean, also something that we haven't really talked a lot about either is like the higher ups at EA, the changeover in the there's been so much changeover at the top of EA the last year, maybe year and a half, that like we're starting to see maybe the decisions they're making come through now as opposed to what they were making like a year or two ago. I think that's kind of important to spell out now too, right? Like there are different decision makers at the top of the food chain now, and with
Xbox.
And look how long it took Xbox to turn their ship around. Maybe EA is starting to make that shift too.
Instead of doing business, actually think about the development in the community.
Yeah, so maybe not as well as Xbox is doing it, but I think they're moving in that direction. And like Jedi Fallen Order is a big step that way, and the changes to Battlefront is a step that way, and hopefully the work they're pouring into Anthem and Dragon Age is going to be show us that way too. So.
Yeah, I'd definitely like to see that Apex game go the way of the of No Man's Sky, where all of a sudden, they completely just make it a viable game, and people are playing it and talking about it again.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Well,
there's no reason they can't.
that's what you've been getting down to, Jesse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I am going to get to the 2 games because that's what was required for me. But I guess that's normal. So I finished Darksiders 3 on Xbox One. It's an okay game. It's I think that game it wasn't really optimized yet. I had to reset my system 7 times just for the game to load to get to the last boss. And I'm playing on the Slim. Like it would literally just freeze. Cutscenes weren't loading and everything. And I'm just like, I'm at the last part of the game. And mind you, this is brand new. I bought Darksiders 3 when it first came out. And I put it away to play some other stuff, but it didn't get scratched. It didn't have no mess on it. It literally looked like it was still brand new, and it had all of these problems. So I was just like, this game is okay, but because it's not optimized, I don't think people are going to really enjoy it and stay with it. If people decide to get to it, play Knack for PS.
It's downloaded on my Xbox One X, so I'm gonna play it at some point.
Started up Knack on PS4 because I beat part 2. You're
prepping for Knack 3, aren't you? PS5 launch Knack 3.
Game of the generation.
It's gonna happen.
Knack 2 was way better than Knack 1. I will say that. Only reason why I decided to play, I was just like, you know what? I made progress in this game. I want to get through it because part of my backlog challenge. So I played a little bit of that. It's okay. It's not bad for a launch game. I think it has some checkpoint problems. It's one of those things that Sony is really known for. Like, if a boss takes like 12 hits to do, if you screw up and die, you got to do all of that over from the beginning, repeatedly. And Sony is known for making you do long boss fights over and over.
It sounds like you got to get better at Knack, Ed.
Got him.
I was better at Knack. I was better at Knack. It just felt like for a battle that's going to happen for about 35 minutes. And if you die for something that you didn't do, you got to do that whole 35 minutes over. So,
I mean, Knack definitely feels like a game to show off the power of the PlayStation 4 in terms of like particle effects and what happens, behind underneath the system instead of on screen. Like that. That's exactly what Knack spells out. I mean, it wasn't exactly the greatest game when it came out either. So.
Yeah, so I'm gonna leave it right there because I played more, but I'm following the rules of a particular person that we should only did 1 or 2 games.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, there's 5 of us, and we're an hour and 10 minutes into the show. I mean, and we're still on what we've been playing, so, and some of us have to be somewhere in 20 minutes.
So, we're going to get into our question corner. Aaron Morris asks, why isn't Josh podcasting on a regular basis? But he asked also a serious
Good question.
Oh, shots fired.
He asked, for someone that's never played Final Fantasy VII, should that person play the original or just wait for the remake? I've heard the remake has made a few changes. Doesn't matter. Josh, I'm going to let you answer the first part before we get into the second one.
I just haven't podcasted in a while since the end of my previous show because I'm kind of waiting for the right idea to come along. I think there's a ton of really good gaming podcasts out there and pop culture ones specifically. Since I don't just talk about gaming, movies are a huge passion of mine. Probably a bigger passion for me than gaming, quite frankly. And I think if I could find a way to do a unique show that doesn't feel like other ones that are already out there on the market, then I would do it. But we'll see. We'll see what the next couple months bring. I've been brainstorming a little bit.
Let me pitch you the idea that I had called Real Talk. REEL Talk.
That's a phenomenal name. and I kind of want to steal it from you.
It's a movie podcast.
We're already doing it.
We'll talk.
Yeah.
We'll talk.
Well, about the Final Fantasy VII one question, I would say go back and play the old one before you play Remake, because I think now definitely play it on PlayStation 4 or wherever. Definitely with the enhancements they made for that game.
Play on the phone. Just play it on the phone.
I think
I've heard it's not bad.
It would be
If
better
you're gonna
for
play it at all.
I think it would be better for him to experience it in this normal form, in a sense, and get an understanding why people fell in love with it. I think the remake right now is a little bit too flashy, and you won't get the full story to the whole game comes out. Flashy in the sense that graphically it looks impressive, but you will be amazed more at the graphics than what the story of Final Fantasy VII is. Final Fantasy VII's story in the old version stood out more, definitely with the characters and music.
I'm going to go and counter that and say, yeah, you can play the original if you want to, but you could also wait for this new one. I've heard that there's some additional content. They fleshed out parts of the story that needed more time in the original. And, yeah, it's going to look good. It's going to play better. I would say you can get the original version for like $8 probably. Try it and be like, yeah, I played it. And now go play this new version with all the delicacies that we have in video games.
To that point, like the original version is like a cool history lesson at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, this
Absolutely.
game was revolutionary for the time. Like it made the PlayStation what it is today. You know, like it made Final Fantasy one of the biggest RPG names of all time, right? But like at this point, you know, unless you really want that history lesson, and like the versions that have come out since the PlayStation version have like, you know, speed up your movement.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to grind XP. You can there's like a story mode that you can just go through the story and play through it, right? Like there's all kinds of like neat features that they added so you don't have to grind for 100 hours to see a 20-hour story, right? But like at this point, maybe you just wait for the new one, because it's gonna play better, it's gonna look better, it's gonna, you know, flesh out a lot of that story that is missing or in other media, like Ray said, you know.
But I'm like, dude, my question would be to him, like, do you want the full story or do you want parts of it and you just want to wait it out?
You're going to get the full story in like the next 20 years, Ed. You just got to wait for it.
I was going to at least say 15. Come on, give him a break.
Dude, you know the last part of the story is going to be released on the 50th anniversary.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Good.
I definitely think that coming from it, Aaron and I are kind of cut from the same cloth in a lot of regards. I would say wait. Specifically, you wait. I think that you're going to enjoy the combat in the remake a lot better. As somebody who struggled trying to play through 7 a couple of years ago and has always appreciated 7, played a little bit of on PS1 back in the day, I did not enjoy my time trying to play it. It was not a game for me. It absolutely was not for me. I know the story, and I love the franchise. Like, I'm a huge fan of Advent Children.
That would have been my question. That would have been my question. Do he wants the full story now, or do he wants to wait for the story to play out for the new one?
I think that's so. Riddle me this: the new game. It's a completely new combat system. It plays more like 15, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would 100% be in the corner of wait for the new one then.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely.
Because honestly, if you want to get the story, you can always there's, I'm sure, a million
YouTube and Wikipedia.
Yeah, there's like a million people that will explain it in probably more detail than you even wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, like
without the grind and the 1997 graphics.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I said to play this one, like to play the old one. So if you want the story and why everybody end up liking it, if he would have said I want to play it so I could get the full story and stuff, I would have said play the old one. If he wants to just wait for how everything plays out, then play for the new one.
So knowing Aaron as little as I do, what he's gonna do is he's gonna wait and he's gonna get this new game and be like, Ray, I thought you said this game was great. This game is cheeks, and then he's gonna stop playing it and go back to like Call of Duty. So, wait and try it for sure.
No team deathmatch in Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
And I do think it helps in that regard. This is one of the only areas where this is advantageous, is that they're releasing it in parts. The remake is only going to be like the first 25-30% of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And
because it's supposed to be 3 episodes.
Yeah, it's going to be episodic. That is a perfect introduction for somebody who doesn't know if they want to fully commit to this game. Mm-hmm. I think that's great. There's going to be a demo for it, so heck, you can try the old one, but I would say just play the demo. And if you like the demo, go for it. Jump in with both feet. I'm waiting until there's a complete edition 3 consoles from now.
As someone who
it'll be 2 consoles from now, relax.
As someone who does not care for Final Fantasy VII, the original, I am very excited for this remake, just from the fact that, like, as someone, I feel like Final Fantasy 15 doesn't get a lot of credit for how good it is because it's so different and so, quote, weird as compared to the other ones. But, like, I'm really excited for this combat system. I'm really excited to see this story through because, like, you hear so much about Final Fantasy VII all the time about how, like I said earlier, how it changed the way people perceive JRPGs and made them mainstream, whatever. And, like, as someone who's a big fan of everything that came after it, I want to play this game. So
I just loved the materia system. Like, it was just so
if you put the
unique
junction
at that time.
system from 8 in this game, it'd be perfect.
Ugh, no, keep that game.
I think that, especially with some of the remakes we've seen lately, there are ways for the remake to become the definitive version of a game. For example, Resident Evil 2. Yeah, nobody's going to think of the original Resident Evil 2
I think
now.
that was the highest rated game of last year, so yeah.
Like, that fundamentally changed it. Resident Evil 3 is likely going to do the same exact thing.
And I can't wait.
What make it
the
better?
remake of 1 did the same thing, too.
And the thing,
on the GameCube.
And the thing with the thing with Final Fantasy VII when it first came out, it kind of was episodic because it was on 3 discs in a sense. So you were able to wait if you wanted to. Like, if you didn't like the first disc, but you finished it and you decided to play something else, you could play it and then be like, oh, I can go to the second disc, in a sense.
Ed's talking about PlayStation 1 games like their DVD box sets.
But I'm just saying that the first game, because it was broken into 3 discs, was
Final
kind
Fantasy
of like...
VII Season 3.
Remember when PC you'd have to have like 7 discs to install a game?
Hold on. And one of the discs was just the installation disc. Yeah.
Oh man.
Let's move on. Deshaun Malone asks, there's a story about how Ubisoft says that PS5 will run most PS4 games. Is this a sign that maybe PS5 won't be totally backwards compatible at all?
I'll go ahead and take this one, the initial answer. I think that there's not much to read into it. I think legitimately they're going to try and get as many games backwards compatible as possible going into this next generation. And I think when they say you use phrasing like this, one, it's to protect them in case there's something that they can't move. So people can't be like, oh, you promised every single game.
Yeah.
Think back to Xbox 360. Steel Battalion couldn't work on the 360 because of the peripheral.
Yep.
Likewise, until Rock Band 4, you couldn't bring forward your Rock Band and Guitar Hero instruments. And some of those you still can't bring forward. You can't play the old Guitar Hero games or the Rock Band games from disc. You had to have imported the songs to Rock Band like way back when you were playing it on 360.
Was that a license problem with that?
Yes. It is 100% been confirmed to be a licensing problem by Harmonix. That's why even back then when you could export songs from Rock Band 1 and 2 to 3, you couldn't export certain songs because of the licensing issues. You had to rebuy those few songs as DLC. So I think this is just PR speak to kind of shield them from any sort of backlash of, well, you made a promise and you're betraying your promise now because I can't live without Guitar Hero 1 on my PS5.
No thanks. But to expand on what Josh said, I agree with everything Josh has said. Consumer base. PlayStation 4 has an incredibly large consumer base that they're not going to all come over immediately. And so they want to make sure that they are still treating those customers like they matter, but also making sure that at some point they want them to come over to whatever the next big thing is that they have their games on.
Right.
You don't just want to leave.
It's exactly what
Why-
Xbox has been setting up this generation too.
Yep.
It's about what you can offer people to make the transitions as simple as possible.
You want to give them options, but also let them know there's something better.
I think
You're not gonna have any exclusives.
I think when it comes to backwards compatible, you got to think that this is Sony and not Nintendo's backwards compatible. Because if you just pop the disc in, or you put your Game Boy and your Game Boy Advance and stuff, it just automatically works. You know,
I don't know. I tried to
that
shove
safe.
a Wii U disc into my Switch. It didn't work very well.
No. No.
Please insert $60.
Right.
No, but like when Nintendo does stay backwards compatible, it's just like everything works from the start. You know, so it's not going to be that same BC for PlayStation 5 in a sense.
What are you talking about? I had to buy a special piece to put my Game Boy Advance games in my GameCube, Ed. Wow.
That's separate.
Oh, but it's not
And
the
I
same.
think that
It's not
when you're
the same.
comparing Game Boy, when you're comparing Game Boy games going to Game Boy Advance, one, that's a completely different time. That was 20 years ago.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
to
but with Wii
Ed's
U,
point, like the Wii
but-
U,
but-
the Wii, you could put Wii games in the Wii U, you
Fair.
could put GameCube games in the Wii. Like, I mean, Nintendo does have a roundabout history of backwards compatibility, you know. But
But we have to then mention exactly that there is no backwards compatibility with the Switch from the Wii U. So
yes, there is.
That's-
It's called "Buy This Game Again."
So, but people might
count.
It's called NES and Super Nintendo Online.
right, but some people who hear BC might think of that kind of way of happening on PS5, that they could pop any disc in or any digital purchase they made from the past.
And
It just
that's yet,
automatically.
that's
I think
yet
this-
to be seen.
I just
So,
think
I don't know.
with the very very big digital push, right? Backwards compatibility becomes a different conversation as opposed to when we were putting PS1 discs in our PS2s. Like this
Right.
is such a huge thing that, you know, it's the term backwards compatibility is changing because of the digital landscape, I think. And you know, people expect now, like when you buy PC games, it just works. Like even if you buy a new PC and like your Steam library will still work on this new PC after you upgrade it or whatnot, right? Like and that's how people have to start looking at PlayStation and Xbox digital libraries, right? And this is exactly how I'm looking at, like, if I go to buy whatever console Nintendo puts out next and my Switch games don't play on this console, I'm going to be upset, because that's how we have now been trained to, okay, my Xbox 360 library, most of it works on my Xbox One, you know, and now my Series X Xbox One games are going to work on my Series X, but also, like, where does that line cross now too? Like, I don't know. I just feel like we have to really start thinking about backwards compatibility.
I ultimately think it's a lot simpler than what we're all trying to make it.
Exactly.
We've had this issue of, hey, backwards compatible, we're going to bring a ton of games forward. We've had the issue of games not coming forward since the Xbox 360. They had rights issues. They couldn't get games to run
Turtles.
architecture.
X-Men.
We've had
Simpsons.
plenty of games from 360 to Xbox One that couldn't go forward. They only were able to bring a handful of Xbox games to Xbox One. This is nothing new. This is a new concept, I think, for PlayStation owners specifically, because they haven't had backwards compatibility in a long time.
It's more. It's also like licensing issues too. Like they've had to learn to relicense things in a way where, hey, like Alan Wake, for example, right? They couldn't bring that forward until they relicensed that music, right? And now it's available, and they had to license it in perpetuity now, instead of like, okay, we're licensing this song for this game on this disc for this system, right?
That is honestly, I'm really glad you brought up the music, because it goes beyond just like Rock Band and Guitar Hero. Like that is what holds up a lot of your games coming forward that you play.
Yep.
That is like, I would love to sit down and play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 or 4. I'd love to go out and buy an Xbox copy of that and play it. And I can't, because they can't relicense that music, or some of these third-party characters. Darth Maul is in those games, for God's sake. Spider-Man is in those games. Like, they're not going to let you bring that forward anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
And probably for some of these games that their companies are not around anymore. So, you know.
yeah,
And then there's license holders that just are not interested in licensing stuff for games anymore. Like you look at Turtles in Time for Super Nintendo is the biggest thing in my life, at least, like that is stuck on the Super Nintendo because the company that holds the license to that doesn't want to license it out. And now there's like a licensing nightmare between that game and Nickelodeon and Eastman and Laird and the comics holder. Like there's like 5 or 6 companies now that like you have to get licenses from just to have that game, to where it might not even be profitable to even bring that game forward.
See, and thank you for bringing that up, because I feel like now is so much more about the money. There's so much more money to be had now that it makes it hard for these people to write up these contracts, because they want as much money as possible, but they also, try not to get cheated in a way, because sometimes games blow up, sometimes games flop, and that's what I think the worry is.
And sometimes too, that's why you see like some backwards compatible games are like, you can go to GameStop and get a used copy for like $5 or $6, right? But then you see it on the digital store for like $30, and you have to pay the license holders, you have to pay the original publisher, you have to pay the publisher that owns the rights now. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a web of awfulness.
But at the same time, like as much of a mess as it is, like I think, like the thing is though, is I do believe that moving forward from this point, a lot of that stuff is in place, and it's like you guys were kind of saying, it's a lot more understood. So I think that the chances of a lot of this stuff being backwards compatible moving forward is a much bigger chance, just because like, I think that's why, like you guys were saying, with the stuff digitally costing more than buying it physically. I wonder sometimes if some of that stuff isn't like already being pre-figured out, that
plus like
once it's in the thing. To talk between like the physical and digital stuff too, is like the reason why a lot of stuff goes on sale is that, a lot of companies that sell the games in the store, not including GameStop, like they don't have shelf space to keep games that are 3 or 4 years old, so they'll put them on clearance, right? And that's why you can buy a lot of games digitally, or physically cheaper than digitally now too.
And you gotta also think about first party versus third party. So, but we're gonna move on. Samantha Cross asks, with Nintendo opening their own theme park, what franchise company do you think would fit the theme park mode?
For me, there's only one that hasn't been adapted into a theme park already, because you've got Nintendo, you've got Star Wars just opened at Disneyland and at Walt Disney World.
Oh, I'm so excited! I'm going in like 3 weeks.
Campus coming to Disneyland next summer, which I'm super pumped for. There's only one franchise left, and to me, that's Pokemon. I think Pokemon.
I thought you were going to say the Fast and the Furious. Wow.
Yeah, I will never say that. I will live my life for a mile at a time, but not at the park.
The whole thing will be themed on Tokyo Drift. That's good.
Okay. Joke. I would pay actual money for that.
I think I would say Media Molecule. I think some of their games would fit a nice theme park or friend. I would love to see like a Little Big Planet kind of franchise thing in like Universal or something.
This is so easy for me. This question.
Jesse, what's yours?
Mine's Studio Ghibli.
So that's actually happening in Japan, though, isn't it?
Yeah. I partially, yeah. Isn't it like they have? Is it part of the Disney stuff, or is they just doing their own thing?
It's not part of Disney. I know
not.
that.
I think it's
because they're owned by Sony now.
Yeah, it's their own. It's their own thing. But it's going to be based on the 2 major lands in it. I think are based off of, at least one of them is Howl's Moving Castle, and I think Castle in the Sky is another one.
Yeah.
With little areas based on like Spirited Away, Kiki's Delivery Service, Ponyo, Totoro, things like that.
Okay. Yeah. See, that's.
I want Yu-Gi-Oh real bad. Let's make a real Battle City.
Bro.
Battle City.
Hold up.
Digimon.
That sounds more like an arcade game than
If you give me a Yu-Gi-Oh attraction at Universal Studios, I want you to listen to me. If you give me this, I will move my butt to Orlando, Florida. I will buy an annual pass to Universal instead of Disneyland, and I will go every single week to play in Battle City.
Yeah, give me Battle City. I would like let us.
I will buy a dual disc.
And let us go and compete. And it resets every day, and you get new champs, and like it would be nuts, and I would love it.
Let me summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon in the middle of Harry Potter land, and you will have my money forever.
Yep.
Let's do it.
But picture this: you're in a Megazord. You're fighting.
Wow.
Corey,
We're going for outlandish things that will never happen, that I want to see 50 years from now. I want to be an old retiree in a Gundam, okay?
Yes. I mean, Power Rangers should have been done, but I feel like Saban is real stingy with their licensing. Like, they should have had a Power Rangers land somewhere, but they just didn't. It seems like a really big
I
missed
honestly
opportunity.
cannot believe that Power Rangers land did not happen when Disney and ABC held the rights.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's kind of ridiculous.
Corey, what would you choose?
I don't know. I mean, Nintendo was kind of like the one that I was always surprised didn't have theme parks, right? Because like they're basically Disney's version of Japan's version of Disney, where like they're so not in the way of like, oh, they spread their license everywhere, right? But like they're so stingy with their IP and they want total control over everything, right? Like they're just that way, right? And as a huge fan of Disney, right? Like I love the way those parks are set up, and I always wanted to see like, oh well, what would Hyrule Castle look like in a theme park instead of Cinderella's castle or Sleeping Beauty's castle, right? Like I always wanted to see what they could do with that, and now that Nintendo Land is opening up, it seems to be more based around Mario and Donkey Kong and like that set of characters instead of the Zelda stuff. But I mean, Zelda would be cool. I think like if they really did Nintendo World, what I would say correctly, they would have like a Tomorrowland based off of like Metroid and Star Fox. They would have a
Oh, baby. Yes.
like they would have like the castle would probably be Peach's castle, but you know how they just redid Fantasyland? You could put a second or third castle back there of like Hyrule Castle.
Give me, because I know you go to Disney just as much as I do, Corey.
Yeah.
Give me a Star Fox ride in the vein of Avatar: Flights of Passage.
Yeah, I have. Look, the last time I was there, because my wife got pregnant and now we have a kid, and like we haven't been since she's been born. I haven't been since Avatar opened. We were there a week before it opened, so I'm going in about 3 weeks. Josh, we had this conversation on Twitter. I'm going in about 3 weeks, and I'm going with my dad because we're doing a boys trip before, like, because nobody's getting any younger, right? And we wanted to do something before something, just like a just in case type thing. And we're going, and I was like, look, you make Avatar fast passes, you try to get the Star Wars stuff, like you do whatever you can to get stuff that we haven't done yet. So
do Star Wars in the day and definitely Avatar at night.
Yeah. So that's coming off that though, like if you did like a Star Fox thing kind of like that, because I have watched videos on it, like I think that would be really cool. That, or like even Soarin' almost for like or even Star Tours almost to that point. Dude,
give me an F-Zero ride and a meetable Captain Falcon.
Yeah. Well, and I was just thinking what you could do is like what you have, in Epcot, like the Epcot area. You could have have just like, instead of all the different countries, it could be like
give
all
me
the
F-Zero
different
test track, you cowards.
Oh
yeah, there
my
you go.
God. Oh
Yeah.
Clean up on aisle 7. So we're gonna move on. Greg Osterman III asks, "What's your perfect breakfast and how do you prepare it?" My breakfast is pretty much getting pancakes at a pancake shop.
Pancakes? That's it? Gosh, Ed.
Well, and eggs.
Ed, why are you so boring? Why are you so boring? Pancakes?
I don't do breakfast as much. If I don't do pancakes, I do a fresh toast.
So, to clarify the question, does it need to be something? What is my ideal breakfast if I make it, or if I go get it?
It just says, "What's your perfect breakfast?"
I mean,
the
Earl's Sandwich has some pretty good breakfast sandwiches. I'm gonna throw that out there.
Don't even bring Earl's Sandwich into this, my friend.
Dude, I have $100 worth of gift cards, and I'm taking down with me to Earl's Sandwich. So
the best I've had two amazing breakfasts in my life that if I could, I would recreate every single day. The first was brunch, where you order your drink that you want for brunch. So a screwdriver, a mimosa, Bloody Mary, whatever. Then you pick your food. They put your food on skewers, and it is sticking out of your drink. And let me tell you, it's a phenomenal experience at 10 o'clock in the morning on a rainy Saturday. But the other one, at my favorite brunch spot in Dallas, the Meddlesome Moth, there's a breakfast sandwich there. It's 2 pieces of sourdough French toast, 2 pieces of ham, 2 pieces of bacon, and 2 fried eggs in it. And let me tell you something. You eat like a king when you eat that sandwich. You may not move after that. You may have to get them to bring the car to you, but you eat like a king, and you may very well die like a king that day.
Well, Ray, what's your breakfast choice and how
So
you
this
prepare it?
This is difficult because I like breakfast in lots of many different forms. Like it could be if I'm just like, hey, this is a meal that I want to enjoy. We're having pancakes. We're having waffles. We're having thick cut bacon. We're having potatoes. We're having mimosas. Oh, we having a lot. I want a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich. We having a good time is what we're having. Let me tell you right now.
That
Okay?
sandwich.
So no. I can have a whole lot of different breakfast things. Almost too many. I can keep going. I love eggs Benedict. We could do a lot, and I'll keep going. But we got chicken and waffles, man. Listen. I can have a cheeseburger because that also counts as breakfast if you ask me. So
Pizza counts as
exactly
breakfast.
pizza counts.
So.
I mean, there is a
cold
spicy
pizza from the
spicy
night before.
chicken croissant coming to Wendy's breakfast. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
So
The
try
chicken McGriddle is phenomenal.
I'm gonna try that, and I'm
Is
gonna
it
hold
out
you to
yet?
that. And if it sucks, I'm coming for you.
Is
Well,
it out
it's
now?
probably gonna come today.
Is
But
it
no,
out?
I just love breakfast.
Is it out now?
It is out now. They have a combo meal at McDonald's. It is $2. You get the chicken McGriddle and you get a hash brown with it for $2.
$2. I'll
$2.
do it.
It was
I'll
more
do that
expensive for me to buy the sandwich than to get
All
the combo.
I'll do a $2 hollow. We'll see what happens.
I ate
Jeff-
2 of those bad boys the other day. I bought one for me, one for Chelsea. She took a bite. She didn't like it and sent me to go Chick-fil-A for her instead.
Yeah.
So I ate
Yeah.
McGriddles.
Jesse, how
Who
How
just
do
said yuck to Chick-fil-A?
Chick-fil-A sucks.
Who this man?
Jesse,
Who
what's
this man?
You must not have gone to Popeyes. Chicken sandwich is way
Chick-fil-A is
better.
better than Popeyes.
Every time you say Chick-fil-A sucks,
Josh, we're not gonna
I
do
get
this
really
again.
sad.
We're not gonna do this again, Josh.
It's bad.
Jesse? What is your breakfast?
I don't like a place where you've got to put everything on the sandwich yourself. It's just the bun and a
Wait, what are you talking about?
yeah. At the
What are you
Chick-fil-A,
talking
I
about?
went when I went to Chick-fil-A. They
you not
gave me
order a
they
sandwich?
gave me
Just tell them
No.
what you put on the sandwich, and they'll put it on it.
Yeah,
they all they said. I said I wanted a chicken sandwich. They gave me a bun with a chicken patty on it, and I looked at it and I'm
That's
like,
what
what?
was a chicken sandwich?
That's the number one.
Jesse,
My
what
man
is
goes. My man
My
goes.
man
"Hey, I
didn't
want a
order
chicken
the
sandwich."
deluxe and is upset that they gave him
My
the
man
regular.
said, "I want a chicken sandwich," and they're like, "Here
No,
you go, sir,
this
chicken
is-
sandwich." And he
this
goes,
is-
"Well, "You just gave me a chicken sandwich," and it's like, "Yeah, that's exactly what you ordered."
Yeah, but you order a chicken sandwich at Popeyes and it has actual sauces on it. It has you don't
Yeah,
have to
sauce
you don't have
and
to put
like
that
pickles.
stuff. Yeah,
Dude,
you don't
you
yeah,
get the-
you don't have
first
to
of
put
all-
any of
first
that
of all-
stuff on.
it's not as bad as when Ed told me the first time he went to Chick-fil-A. He got the grilled chicken sandwich.
Well, yeah.
That's the first
because
thing.
because I don't know when it comes to chicken sandwiches, I don't normally eat them breaded, and I just wanted to taste the chicken without the seasoning, the breading to
And
see how it
Second
tastes.
of all, you
not
don't
to-
need
not to
anything
mention
on this
our-
Chick-fil-A spicy chicken sandwich. You get the spicy chicken sandwich, no pickles. I don't like pickles. But then you get mayonnaise and Chick-fil-A sauce, and you swirl them about the bun, and then you fold the bun so it mixes them together, and then you put it on the
Well-
sandwich and you take a bite, and it's
I'll
delicious.
be very
Wait,
My
clear.
man is an artiste over here.
The spicy chicken sandwich at Popeyes is better than the Chick-fil-A spicy chicken sandwich. The regular Chick-fil-A sandwich is a place of its own. There's nothing that can touch that.
Thank you. I will agree with that. I will
It's the
agree
most
with those.
underwhelming sandwich I've ever had.
Yeah, see, I want to. Yeah, I don't normally when
Now,
I
if they took the spicy chicken from Chick-fil-A and they made spicy chicken nuggets, you best believe I'd be there every single day.
Which is weird they don't, but yeah.
Literally, I have to go to Wendy's for my fix, my spicy chicken nuggets.
Jesse, we got to get your answer before we get to the last question.
That's fine. I don't need to answer my breakfast question. That's fine.
Honestly, hey, I got cut up a couple episodes. I didn't get to answer things either. I don't know, man. There's way too much good stuff when it comes to breakfast. But if I'm just like going like quick and fast, something I just want to grab quick and don't want to spend a lot of money, I love getting the breakfast crunch wrap at Taco Bell with jalapenos in it.
Nice. Corey, what is your breakfast?
All right, this is gonna, Josh. I know you're gonna like this one. All right, so. Let me tell you, the thing I'm looking forward most to when I go to Disney in a couple weeks is when we go to Chef Mickey's at the Contemporary Resort. Now, what I usually start out with, you get some. I normally start out with like a traditional breakfast there. It's a buffet, so you can go up as many times as you want, just for everybody out there. Get me some eggs, get me some bacon, get me some of the Mickey waffles, right?
Bro, the Mickey waffles are GOAT tier.
Yeah.
Tier.
Oh yeah. And the second plate is usually where it starts coming into the amazingness, right? I get some biscuits and gravy, but also you get the Mickey waffles and put some of that sausage gravy on the Mickey waffles. And then you top it with some bacon. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Biscuits and gravy is definitely one of my favorite parts.
We're not going to get into that.
I mean, my heart
now,
has some
you
concerns.
said Disney breakfast. I thought you were going in a different direction with this to my Disney breakfast, which is you go over to the Polynesian and you order yourself a nice big helping of Tonga toast.
I mean,
now what's Tonga toast, you might ask? 2 gigantic pieces of sourdough bread as French toast, and in the middle there is bananas. And let me tell you, my friends, there's powdered sugar on top. There's a nice hot cup of coffee sitting next to it. There may even be a breakfast cocktail. You cannot go wrong with the Tonga toast before the Magic Kingdom.
That's fair. You know what? That's fair. If you don't want to feel like complete crap afterwards,
and it's cheaper.
That is the breakfast. That is the go-to breakfast. That is. You know what? I can't argue with that. Can't.
Well, yeah, we're going to save this last question for next episode because I really want to dive into this one from Megan Green. I'm just going to put it out there. How do you guys think Rockstar will change now that one of the Hazel brothers is gone? We're going to deep dive into that one next week. We're going to wrap it up right here. Josh, can you go ahead and plug? Where can we find you? What you got going on?
You guys can find me over on Xbox Live at CPT Cakes 117. That is Captain Cakes with an abbreviation 117 due to my love for the Halo series. You guys can find me there, usually playing Destiny, playing some Battlefront. Feel free to drop me a friend request or send me a party invite. I'm always down to do some multiplayer. You can find me on Twitter at Josh_Finn. And other than that, I don't have any projects to plug right now, but I may have something here in the next few months. We'll see how it pans out. I got some things I'm working on. So
all right. Awesome. Ray, where can we find you?
Well, you know me. I am Ray Apollo on the internet. RayAPollo. Streaming mostly on Twitch. Still playing Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Soon to be playing more Battlefront 2, especially with my boy Josh. So yeah, come, follow me on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. That's where we hang out. That's it.
Yes. Jesse, where can we find you?
You can find me almost everywhere as Phantom NXS. And that's including there's Instagram, Twitter, but if you do like add me on anything, like if it's something where you can like leave a message or whatever, just like please do that if you could, so I know like what you're like, especially when it comes to Xbox. You can get these random people adding you, and it might just be bot people, and if I don't want you to feel like I'm not adding you if for whatever reason. So if there is a way on whatever you want to follow me on, just shoot me a message or something. let me know that, hey, I'm following you because of the show. Because I did go on to my Instagram or something. I forget which one it was, but I was kind of trying to. I had to do research to find out, like who these people were, and I put two and two together that they followed me because of the show. So, if there's any way, then that goes for all of us, really. I'm sure, because sometimes it just makes it easier if we know who you are. Or why you're wanting to follow us, so we can make sure that you get the acceptance for the follow and stuff like that. So,
all right, hey Corey, where can we find you?
Well, I recently made some changes in my social media because last week, we had MC Fixer on, and he told me that, in general, that you should have everything match, which I didn't disagree with him, but there's always that one place where somebody is just like has your name. Right, even if they haven't used it in 4 or 5 years, right? So, I changed all my social media to I am Corey in HD. So you can find me at those places, and then on streaming platforms at Corey in HD.
All right. You guys can find me on Twitter at ThatRetroCode. You can check out Optional Opinion on SoundCloud and other podcast apps. You can find me on Xbox at The Lyrical One. PSN is on Comic Code, and you can check out my Twitter page for my Switch code. With that, everybody, come and join our Facebook community Boss Rush Games page. Come and get in contact with us. Hopefully, everybody is participating in our backlog challenge. Get your points up. We want to know what games that you guys have beaten and where you guys stand at with your points. With that, everybody, have a great week, have a great weekend, and we will see you next time on Boss Rush Podcast. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, guys.